Hello, everyone.
You
Welcome
guys
to
hear
our
me?
latest edition of Big Game Players with myself, Super, and my co-hosts Banjo and Dr. Roo. Evening,
Good evening.
gents.
Evening, guys.
Good evening, guys.
Roo, you look tired.
Yeah,
We have an addition
mate.
this evening. We have another Chris
It's 1
joining us
a.m.
this evening.
It's 1 a.m., my brother. So I'm trying to
1
be
a.m. Okay.
polite and quiet.
Okay. Chris, and we have a special guest tonight, Chris, who's joining us to.
Thanks for having me, gents.
Well,
How are you, Chris?
Please to have you on, Chris.
Very well, thank you. I've been enjoying the podcast week in, week out, so it's nice to have a little appearance and get to talk football with you guys. So thank you for having me on.
Thank you.
Well, hopefully we've finally found a Chris that can talk some sense, but let's see. Let's see how it goes. Right. Well, the Premiership is back.
Yes,
It is.
So, where should we start? Do you know what? I think a good place to start this week. Let's talk about the teams that came up that us last week maybe gave little to no hope to. Coventry away to Arsenal on Friday night.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a tough game to come into, right, for your first game of the Premiership up against the champions at home.
Well, it doesn't get tougher than that, though, does it? But sometimes maybe you just want to get it out of the way.
I think when you look at major tournaments, they tend to try to find, the either the hosts up against somebody who's a bit of a whooping boy for, the opening game. And I think maybe that's what the Premier League are trying to do. Introduce the champions on a Friday night against a newly promoted side. You expect them to put on a show. So it was almost like they were lambs to the slaughter, really. But, when you look at them on paper, they did have some decent players on the break and they just couldn't get breaks going. I thought it was a really good performance from Arsenal.
Yeah, very good. Very dominant, I thought.
What did you make of it, Roo? Did you catch any of it?
Has he gone to sleep?
Mate. I thought they put on a show. I thought they tried their best, Coventry, but completely outclassed. I mean, Arsenal were in second gear at best. They could have been a cricket score, but they chose not to do that. So, yeah, a golfing class. Like I said, they tried. It weren't the case of sitting back and, low blocks and that, but nowhere near good enough.
And you saw one of the Coventry players actually after the game in his interview when he spoke. I mean, he said, I think almost indicated some of the things they could maybe get away with in the Championship. They just got punished on the night for. It's a big gulf, right?
Well, of course it is. You're talking about the Champions League finalists, so you're talking about that level of football.
But what I'm saying, is there a bigger gulf in divisions between, I don't know, Championship and Premiership? I think even if you go League One to Championship, League Two to League One, is there as big a jump anywhere?
No, I think that's a bigger jump.
The leap's massive. The leap's as big as it gets. But the only thing I would say is if I was Coventry, that's the sort of fixture I want to open with. Because if you're ever going to have a learning curve, that's the sort of game you're gonna pick up most from. For example, trying to think, Ipswich played Sunderland at home, and we'll touch upon that, and they won, and it's a good shot in the arm. But in terms of learning what it means to play Premier League football at the very highest end, that was like so valuable for Lampard and his team. So
it's not going to get harder for them.
Yeah, I mean, they did all right.
They've got the toughest game out of the way. That's the toughest fixture for them.
Exactly. It doesn't get a lot easier. I think they're away to Man City this week.
The thing is, though, guys, you got to remember a lot of these players, they're not players that have never played at a high level. You've got Thomas Asante in there, you had Onyeka in there, you had De Silva in there. There are players that do have experience at the highest level. So it's not like they wouldn't be aware of the type of players they're coming up against. Sometimes you're just up against a significantly better team who's very high on confidence. You looked at, Solis has come in. He's looked really, really good. He's hit the ground running.
I was wondering how long that was going to take you, Chris.
Well, we can't not talk about it, can we? Let's be honest. I mean, Martin Keown said that he felt it was the best debut he's seen at Arsenal since Freddie Ljungberg. Wow. Whichever way you put it, the fact that he's settled quickly and he's the patterns of play have been fantastic. Him and Calafiori have really found their feet. You saw often Solis was sort of running across the defensive line. And as he'd move across the defensive line, looking to curve his run to get in behind, you saw Calafiori stepping up straight away into that left wing position. And when Solis would start to make his way back, you saw Calafiori come back. Now, against a top class side, you do have the potential whereby if you lose the ball in that scenario, they could hit a long diagonal because they're trying to create an overload on the right wing when they're doing that. When Solis is moving towards Saka, you could hit a long diagonal. And then by the time Calafiori has to recover, that could be a problem for Arsenal. And that's often a tactic used in a 3-5-2, or rather against a 3-5-2. And you could have some success against Arsenal in theory with that. But, Urenki, who's really good on the break, Thomas Asante, who's good on the break, they were just starved of possession, and Arsenal were able to snuff that out quickly. So just looking at the way Arsenal performed, they really choked Coventry out.
Yeah.
And so it was impressive. But
good win for the champions. But you know what, Coventry, that's not what they're going to be judged on, is it? Whether it's that game or this weekend.
No.
That's not the games that's going to define whether they stay up or not.
No, but you've got to give credit to Arsenal as well. I mean,
yeah. Well, I said good convincing win.
Yeah, this is off the back of a solid, good performance in the Community Shield as well. So they've started the season with the right mentality, right attitude, character, and and
actually showing slightly more expensive football.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's got something to do with the fact that they've been talking about clamping down on set pieces this year. In terms of the wrestling on set pieces, offensive fouls and stuff like that. If Arsenal did get quite a big output from goals on set pieces, maybe Arteta's looked at this and thought, you know what, this year we're going to have to try and find ways to add goals in a different way. So maybe they've taken that into account and they want to be more expansive. Arsenal were conceding a lot more goals than was typical in pre-season. Now, does that have to do with Saliba being out, or does it have to do with the fact that they are preparing to be more expansive? And it will be interesting to see how that develops moving forward when they're up against teams that are more potent than Coventry.
Yeah. We haven't even spoken about their depth. Like we didn't even talk about Konza being bought and kind of introduced pre-match. The players they brought on, the caliber of players, almost like for like. And I mean, I think they said they brought on 2 finalists, World Cup finalists or World Cup winners, and the finalists or something like that. Listen, we're going to talk about the weekend on.
I'll tell you who came on. I've got it here.
They were superb.
Merino.
Zubimendi, £60 million player, came on. Madueke, £50 million player, came on. Eberiche Eze, £55 to £60 million player, came on. Marino, somewhere in the mid-30s region, came on. Mid-30s in terms of price.
Yeah, but I don't like the way you did it because it's almost like...
I'm just saying, when you're talking about strength in depth,
but the names
that
are
Rue was touching on, these are the players coming on. These are your backups.
But that's...
And you had 3 or 4 or 2 or 3 out injured as well, big players in the likes of Timber and Saliba. Yeah.
Nkapie, big price range, big price tag, came on.
Boys,
players unavailable, injured, like you just mentioned. Guimaraes, £75 million player, unavailable.
It's almost like you're saying they've bought their
unavailable. They bought their weight.
No, but it's over time.
But you know what?
These are successful signings. I don't like that. I don't like that. But no, because
where you look,
listen, we've all bought players on. When you've got Wirtz coming off £115 million, and he's that playing how he did on Sunday, what are we going to say?
Look, these
are successful signings.
There is a flip
over a
side
period of time. Sorry?
There is a flip side to that coin as well, and that is that if Solis carries on like this, £35 million a snip. Skelly's a youth player. Saka came from the youth team. Mosquera, 20 million, looks like a bit of a snip. So there is a flip side to that coin as well.
There is.
It's just that Raya came from Brentford. They've bought well as well. I do get what Super's saying, right? The net spend, and Arsenal not only had to deliver. You could argue maybe Arteta had to deliver even earlier than he did, but okay, it was a process. They got to the point where they're delivering. You now have to really build a dynasty off of that sort of expenditure, especially if it's going to continue. You can't spend over £1 billion and just win 1 FA Cup within 6 months of coming and then 1 league. What was it, like 7 league finishes later? He does need to build on that now. But in terms of the squad costing a lot of money, let's be honest, a lot of the big Premier League sides are spending that sort of money.
Exactly.
It's pretty
It's just
common.
that we're making a point of this because theirs is successful and their squad is stronger because the signings they've made relatively successful, whereas all the other clubs have wasted money.
Well, what's that take
you could have 10
what's
years
that
ago.
take on what Ian Wright said about Martinelli?
Yeah, that's actually interesting. He said that he's being disrespected, isn't he?
He said he spoke, well, maybe not spoke to him, but he knows inside knowledge about the fact that he hasn't been spoken to, Martinelli, and almost has been just tossed to one side. Weren't part of the squad for the Community Shield, weren't part of the squad yesterday or
It's
the weekend.
Look,
Yeah, I'm just asking your take on it.
If Martinelli wants to blame someone, I'll tell you what, go look in the mirror and blame yourself.
Yeah,
but this is the argument. The argument is he's played as well as the likes of, Madueke Eze, for argument's sake. It's not like, there's a player ahead of him or, the player in the team that has clearly done better than him. And the way he's been treated.
It's not just
that. I mean, if he's not...
flat to deceive.
No, but it's not just... If he's no longer part of the plan, surely he deserves an explanation.
Look, I think he's been there shy of 10 years and he was at 9 years.
Even if he was Arsenal's best player last season, if the coach just doesn't think that there's a future for him,
that's fine.
That's fine. The problem is, if the rumours are true, and they are online rumours, you've got to be careful, but the rumours are that because Arsenal had received bigger bids from Turkey and Saudi than they did from Italy, they were really trying to push him to move there. He didn't want to go there. He wants to remain in one of the big European leagues. And since then, the rumours are that Arsenal have decided to try to not force him out, but treat him a little bit differently. Yeah. Now, that could just be internet talk.
Well, it sounds like they're freezing him out, let alone forcing him out. I mean, it's sort of, listen, Arsenal's done brilliantly in recent times of how they've behaved. I'm not questioning them, but if that is how they've dealt with a player that's given them a lot back, that's poor.
Yeah. I mean, he's got every right to decide, where he'd like to go at the end of the day. It's a contract. If he doesn't want to go to a certain league or or a country to play his football and he wants to stay like in the top European leagues, he's got every right to decide, look, if I'm not part of the plans and you're going to sell me, I don't want to go there.
Yeah, I think the majority of Prem teams would have him on the left-hand side. Yeah. That's how good he is in my opinion. He's a good player.
But for how much? If the Saudis are offering 60 million, like has been touted, and say Everton come in and they say, we'll give you 40, it's not, Arsenal aren't obliged to leave 20 million on the table. So that depends as well, the types of offers that are coming in. But if it's true that he's been treated in a way where he's been frozen out of the lineup, maybe he's not being spoken to about, look, this is what we plan to do with you, and then it is out of order. So it's hard to know, I guess, about the inside knowledge.
It's a lot of money.
It's only, the whole thing stemmed from Ian Wright, and for him to wear his heart on his sleeve the way he did, I think there's a lot of substance to that. Yeah. It's not like the smoke there. It's not just a fire. It's Wright was really, really passionate about it.
Ice him out. Get rid of him.
But Super, you're so black and white, mate.
It doesn't work like that. He's a human being. You treat him with respect.
I'm not black and white. It's happening.
It's not just he's a human being, man. The squad like you. He's not a bad apple. He's not a bad egg. He's a good player that the squad like. You can't just toss him to one side.
He's a tosspot. He's a tosspot.
He's a tosspot. Why?
He's a tosspot. What did he do with Bradley last year? He's a tosspot.
He's not a tosspot. Even Bradley.
I don't think he really.
The way he acted with Conor Bradley, he's a tosspot.
He accepted his apologies.
He's getting his comeuppance.
Wow.
But anyway, there is a God. He sees things. Anyway, we'll move on. The United.
I will talk about Arsenal.
I don't know why you're sitting on this podcast with all those legends behind you, because your team's atrocious, bud.
Because none of them played.
Jesus Christ, Super. That's too strong, man. It was a bad performance, but the team's not atrocious.
They rocked up to their first game of the Prem and lost a Hull.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
Well, I've seen the goals.
No, but you need to watch it. Not saying that.
Even if you had loads of chances, you didn't score them.
No, we did have loads of chances. I'm not saying anything about United. I'm saying you're saying they lost to Hull, but credit to Hull. They came out full guns blazing. They were up for it. They, at the end of the day, I said it. I think I said it last week. You don't want to play these teams away from home as the first game of the season, because You want to play them after they've lost a few and their confidence is low. Their fans have rocked up. Their players have rocked up, proper excited, going for it. And the truth is, they wanted it more than Man United. And credit to them, they fully deserved the win. Man United, every now and then, it's almost like they need to be reminded. They need a lesson in knowing that they can't just turn up and win games, because it doesn't work like that. It was an appalling performance.
What's Carrick saying after this game, Banjo?
Carrick after the game was, they said to him, "You look calm." He said, "I look calm, but trust me, inside I'm not."
You got to stop using that word, mate.
No, he said it.
Just stop using it, mate. No one's calm at Old Trafford anymore, mate.
No, exactly. He said it. No, but he said he's not. They said you look too calm. Like, it was like a criticism. But no. One thing I didn't like what he said people won't notice because obviously we've lost and the result is what it is. And rightly so, people won't notice. But there was a few positive things he said. I don't know what he was talking about.
Maybe
there was nothing positive from my point.
Maybe there was only two.
No, look, guys, you were away from home. You did have 72% possession.
We did, Chris, but we lost the battle. We lost the fight. They wanted it more. You could see they were up for it. We couldn't deal with their crosses to start with. The two new signings had terrible games. More so, I'm going to pull out Tillemans there. Physically, he didn't look up to the challenge. He was giving the ball away a lot. The hard running, he couldn't do. Santos, I'll try and get off his back a little bit. He was playing in the 6th role. Hull were very clever. They were getting Bernie to press him and put him under pressure. But it was just a bad performance, and couldn't deal with their crosses. Every ball which was going in, we were struggling. And they got what they deserved. They were up for it. They had more passion. And we turned up first game of the season and we didn't match it. And we lost.
Rue?
Listen, I only saw highlights of that game. And for me, it was more what I was reading and what I was hearing. It was like Hull did what they'd done all last season. And they did it perfectly. You know, the set pieces, the moments that they capitalised on. But I think worse was the fact that you looked so blunt in attack, man. There was
I'm going to touch on that. But
you had all of them there. There was no one missing, really.
All I've heard from Banjo all last 3 weeks, and Juru, and Buemo's looking sharp and on it. Sesko's going to come good this season.
Sesko came off the bench. He's not played. That was his first game. He's not even played in pre-season. So I was actually surprised he was available. But the thing is, what I will say, we approached that game as if we were in pre-season. But what I've made from that game, I was saying we just need a left back. I was saying after the Belieber signing, we just need a left back, and then we're good to go. For now, but I actually think from what I took from that game, we might need another number 9 as an alternative to Sesko, because when Sesko's not available, because he couldn't start that game, he wasn't fit. It was his first game. He's not played all summer, and you're just thinking we need something focal up front. We need a number 9 up there in the first half, especially.
Buemo did have 2 good moments.
He did. One good save from the Greek.
One of them was one-on-one, and sort of one-on-one. He was under pressure and he saved that. But there are 2 areas of concern, I think, for Manchester United in this particular game. Firstly, Hull City last season had the joint 4th worst defense in the Championship.
Yeah, they did.
So when you look at it from that perspective, to look so blunt against a team that can't defend, all right, they got a new keeper, but in general, they're not. You're not going to imagine them being a team that's going to have an incredible defensive record over the course of the season. That's a concern. The other concern for me, when it came to Man United, is that there was all this talk in pre-season that AC Milan under Ruben Amorim played 3 at the back, and they caused United a lot of problems. And on Match of the Day, there was a discussion with one of Hull's assistant coaches, where he was sort of asked, because Wayne Rooney had suggested that he thought that maybe Hull had analysed that game because they went 3 at the back. And he denied that they did that. He said, no, we certainly didn't copy Ruben Amorim. And then he sort of went on to admit that they showed the players footage of that game.
Oh.
And so it's a potential concern if you've got a preseason game against Milan that you've lost, a game against Hull that you lost, where teams have adapted to go 3 at the back. That might suggest there's a specific weakness of Man United's style of play at the moment that you're going to have to find a solution.
But I think the other thing is though, and we touched upon the stat last week. I think I think every club, you can't have the same defense you had in 2023 starting for Man United in 2026. Considering the direction you've gone in the last 3 years. That's ridiculous.
It wasn't exactly that though. Yesterday on Saturday, because Heaven and Mazraoui played, and it was Maguire and Shaw who came back, and I'm sure Martinez will come back in eventually. Again, he just got back from his break after the World Cup. But what I will say, where United struggled when teams are playing low block, and you can't pass through them, and you can't get in behind them. What do? You use the width, and you get balls in the box. Well, in the first half, balls were coming into the box. We had nothing in there because Kuna likes to come deep because he was playing in the centre forward role. And it just tells me that we need, for when Sesko's not around, for whatever reason, we need a focal point up front. We need someone, an alternative to him. Xerxes is not that man. He's going to go. Hopefully we could get some money from him. But it just tells me even more why we should have gone for someone like Danny Welbeck, even for a season. It was a big weakness. We didn't look like we were going to score, Chris. I know Mbama had a couple of good opportunities, but that was it. We could have played for another 2 days and we wouldn't have scored, in my opinion.
Also, Bam, one of the things that I found to be concerning if you're a Man United fan, you're saying when Cesc goes out, the guy's massive. He only won 1 out of his 4 aerial duels.
Yeah, there was one. Yeah, there was one where a good ball was knocked in. I think it was Luke Shaw, and he should have done better. He should have done better than that one. Yeah.
Right, and so he's won 1 of his 4 aerial duels, so 25%, and his ground duels, he's won none of them, 0%. Yeah. So he's been bullied. When you got a striker who's 6'4", and if you
he's got to put himself about.
Yeah, and when you look at his, they did this pre-season, they did this thing where they said Sesko last season, Sesko this season. They've got his body,
he's built up,
and he's built up massively in terms of he's added muscular bulk to his frame. You expect a young athletic striker to be more of a bully.
Yeah,
back in the day, like I'm going back quite a lot back in the day for the record. But if you're going to buy Sesko, what teams would have just bought a McBurney?
No,
people are going to that foreign market is what I'm getting at. But I bet McBurney won more than 25% of his duels.
McBurney was excellent.
Well, that's what I'm getting at, Banjo. I'm not saying.
I'm not saying I'd rather have McBurney. I'm not saying that.
I'm just saying, why is a McBurney?
On the day, he was better. But Super's right. We didn't always look for the foreign market. But what you have to understand, Super, as well, there's a lack of number 9s out there as well. There's a real lack of number 9s. Just now, I just said to maybe we should have got Welbeck, just for he's 36. There's not a lot out there. Not a lot out there. Maybe there's someone we could go for on loan. Just take Nicholas Jackson or something, just as an alternative. But that's one thing I learned from that game. I didn't think it was necessary, but I think we need someone now. Not so much to start the games when Sesko's fit, but when he's not around, when he's not playing.
Bad
Rashford, I have to say, he came on and did all right. In the second half, he played well. Dorgu was terrible first half.
Let's move on to the last promoted team.
Yeah.
Ipswich.
Yeah.
Home to Sunderland.
3 points.
I think you said last week, Banjo, you don't think Sunderland you said you doubt Sunderland will have as good a season.
Yeah.
But I think many of us are sitting here thinking Sunderland will finish. Where did they finish? 7th?
No, but I thought they could actually have a very different season from what they did last year. Still early.
Yeah, of course.
I agree.
Big win for Ipswich and Jack Clark, one of their old boys, scoring the winner, right?
Yeah. Put the nail in the coffin. I didn't see the game in depth, but it looked like a bit of a chess match in a way. And then the sucker punch at the end. And as I said at the top of the show, I mean they're the sort of results that it's the old saying, isn't it? That the promoted teams definitely need to do as good as they can in their home games, win as many as they can, limit the draws to a minimum, and the defeats to a minimum as well. So I think they did well. And I told you, I think I like the manager. Yeah, I like the manager.
Yeah, I agree.
I like him.
Chris, any thoughts on the game, Ipswich Sunderland?
Yeah, I mean, not to gloat or anything, but I did predict 2-1 to Ipswich.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. All joking
Actually,
aside.
I made you predict scores last week, but actually it's results that we needed, not scores.
Oh, oops, sorry. Well, either way.
But you did predict a home win, and you
Yeah,
were
I
the
did.
only one. Yeah,
I'm with
you were the
Bang.
only one that predicted that outcome.
I actually
Well done,
think
Chris.
Sunderland could be in trouble this year. I
felt
not
that.
necessarily they will go down, but I think they'll be dragged into it. That
Mm.
second season syndrome.
Mm.
Yeah, I think they're overachieved massively. And if you are Ipswich, Root touched upon this earlier. If you're coming up and you're not necessarily wanting that baptism of fire, maybe you're not going to learn from it, like Root said, or learn too much from it. But ultimately, these are the sorts of games that will determine whether you're going to stay up or not. So in a weird way, it's like a mini cup final early in the season. Let's get 3 points against a team that we feel like, you know, in a way, it's like a 6-pointer already.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just thought they'd be up for it. Their fans would be up for it, and they delivered. You've got to give them credit.
Yeah.
Let's give them for a couple of games.
I think super. All in all, if we're going to analyse those three, I would probably say a solid B or whatever it is nowadays, an 8 out of 10, shall we say? Because I think Commentaries was, you know, there was a losing battle down there, and they did well. Ipswich, we said, won, which was credit to them, and so did Hull City. So yeah, solid B.
Okay, a couple of quick ones, guys, that we're going to fly through. Everton Palace seemed to be almost. Palace did have their chances, I think, early on in the game, didn't take them. Pickford pulled off a good save, and then obviously Everton did take their chances. And
Dewsbury Hall,
what a goal!
Yeah,
he's a player I really enjoy watching. You know, I said it last season. I mean, obviously his Chelsea stint didn't go to plan, but you know he was decent down at Leicester, and he's definitely taken his chance at Everton. Probably their best player. I know I like Ndiaye as well, and you know there might be the odd other one there, but yeah, they did well, and I'm surprised because I think you guys are talking about Sunderland. I don't know. I had this thing, and it is early. I've got a feeling Everton might start plummeting, but you know they got their win. They got their win. Palace was another one I said I think would do really bad this season. So yeah, I think I might have predicted a draw. I can't remember, but yeah, probably the home team just shaded it, and that's how you analyse that one. There wasn't much else to talk about. I think from the highlights I saw, anyway.
Yeah.
Chris, got any takes on that game?
Well, I mean, as you said, Palace did. I mean, they had the higher XG, and if you look at the chances they missed in the first half, they'll be kicking themselves. But like Rue, I think it might be a tough season for them because they're really built on their defense, and Glasner was so big there. And when you think that they've lost Gahey, they've lost Lacroix, these are big losses to have. But they've still got a lot of talent. I mean, there was one pass that Wharton played that was beautiful.
I think they'll lose him though, Chris, don't you? Before the window shut.
Where did you go?
Do you reckon?
To who? Where did you see that happen? If you said you think, well, go on, Rude, you've said you think they're going to lose him. There's a week to go. Where can you see him at?
You know, ideally, where I want him to go. I want him to go Liverpool. I want him to go Anfield. I think it'll be a match made in heaven. I just think he's too good to play.
Every platform I'm seeing.
Say again?
Every platform I'm seeing is leading to Liverpool constantly saying, we're not after midfielders in this window.
But is that not to show their hand, Super?
Don't know. But they've used that line so many times now.
Super, we'll touch upon it later whenever you want to bring it up. But clearly yesterday, if we ever need an indicator that the midfield needs a little bit of surgery, it was that game. So when we talk about it, we'll bring up Wharton again. But I just think think he's too good for Palace.
Who, like you said, Wharton might be going before who's he? Is he linked strongly to anyone, or is it just? Or is it?
He's either going to go Liverpool, City, or he's staying where he is.
I don't think he'll go City. City's just signed that Morocco.
Where?
Yeah, and they've got Elliot Anderson as well.
Yeah, he won't go City.
No.
So where's he going? It's only Liverpool left in the mix.
Well then,
and I can't see a sign.
If it is moving on,
and is he a 6? People,
no,
by all accounts, he's not a 6.
When we talk about Liverpool later, we'll touch on that. But I don't think he's actually what you need. Don't get me wrong. You're not going to say no to a Wharton, but I don't think that's the type of DM you need, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about it.
Forest Leeds. Leeds snuck an away win. Poor goalkeeper, maybe for that free kick.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he's a good keeper, Sells. I like him, but to get beaten the way he did, yeah, possibly. But then I forget who's the guy who scored it. I forget his name.
Stack.
Yeah, he's renowned for dead ball, so he took it well. And if Chris is going to gloat about his Ipswich result, I think I was the only one that predicted Leeds away, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of free kicks, Sunderland playing Gulo, was it? Cracking free kick in that game off the other side of the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yes, no, I did see it. It was good. It was a really good free kick.
I think going back to Leeds, I think Leeds were going to have a good solid season.
Well,
yeah,
with Daniel Farker.
We've got some big talking points now coming up, guys. But let's try and move through them. Brentford Spurs.
Oh
God! I was going to say shock of the weekend, but I think I'm going to probably give that to Brighton Villa, to be honest. But we'll talk about Brentford Spurs. Outstanding. Again, the only word I can use from start to finish. Absolutely brilliant performance. Kind of continued where they left off last season, and Andrews just constantly, surprises me, and I think a lot of other people. So
this is the thing with obviously they won a roll last season, doing really well, and the manager was integral and all that, obviously. But then you always wonder, can the manager get him up for it again for the next season?
Can he go again? Yeah.
And it looks like he's doing that, and he's done so well. Keith Andrews, really well.
Sangari, right?
Yeah.
I'm watching that game for Spurs fan. I'm in a bar in France, and Spurs fan goes, "Oh yeah, no." I goes, "Oh, what do you think?" He goes, "I think we'll win it." I was like, "Okay." I predicted. I think Spurs. No, I predicted the draw in that game last week, but I saw the starting lineups. I said to him, "I think Brentford win." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Brentford will win." I said, "Their front three is better than your front three." I'm seeing Tell, Moore,
Richarlison.
I'm thinking that if you gave me that front three, I'm probably telling you that's a mid to lower table front three.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm then seeing midfield on the day. I think Tonali was very average.
Yeah.
Look, you don't want to beat people up after one game, but
who played next to him? Super? Was it Bergvall?
Bergvall was in the three with Tonali, and who was the third one?
Gallagher.
That sounds like a disjointed midfield to me.
But Brentford showed an intensity from minute one.
But they're going to do that. I think they're going to do that.
Front foot football.
Yeah.
And some really underrated players there. I'm surprised.
Coyote.
I'm surprised over the years they haven't been raided more. Clubs have been raided. They haven't been raided as much as maybe.
Come on, Superman. Visa and Buemo disappeared last year, man. They kind of ripped the bastard out of them.
Even Tony's gone. Norgard went.
Raya, the keeper.
Even as far back as Watkins, isn't it?
All right, let me ask you a question.
Yeah, Watkins as well.
Let me ask you some questions. And by the way, I might be wrong in what I'm about to say. Can Coyote play for a better team?
Yeah. Because he's got another part.
Coyote can play for a better team?
He's got another string to his bow that not many players have, that long throw, mate.
Yeah, can Collins play for a better team?
I don't know about Collins. Not sure.
Can Sade play for a better team?
Yeah, probably.
But
you got to remember. But you got to remember, Super, as well. Sometimes you're reeling off names. It's the unit. Sometimes the unit, the style of play works for him, man.
Look. The fact of the matter is, guys, in my opinion, and Super can testify that I've said this for years. This is not like saying it after the fact. I think Kelleher's one of the best keepers in the league. I think he's massively underrated. I'm not saying he's elite, but if you come
he's
after
better
that,
than Mamardashvili for sure.
After that top bracket, I think he's right up there. Coyote's very good. Ayer's really good. Experienced player. Damsgaard, if he didn't have a knee injury, he would be at a big club. He's quality. Sangare, Utara is a really good player.
Even Lewis Potter.
Sade, Thiago. Brentford have got some really good players, and Brentford have lost some really good players over the years. But along with Brighton, because the chairman used to be, they used to be partners, essentially, used to work together. They have a system of operating which goes beyond just the manager. It goes beyond, it's a system that's in place that is almost it's almost invincible to players coming out and going in. They've got a short list for every position, for every player. There's a system in place. The chairman, quite frankly, Matt Benham's a bit of a genius, so innovative. And the way they've brought together this squad of players, they're just able. Brighton always got more spotlight on them. And I think that's because with Brighton, the investment would happen predominantly in South America. So there was a more flamboyant, prettier style. With Brentford, there was a lot more
swagger to the game.
Yeah, with Brentford, there was much more focus on Northern European football, particularly Denmark, a lot of focus on set pieces. And so they would often go under the radar because they'd have a lot of players that weren't big named, sort of highlighted players. As you alluded to there, Super, you're going through the names and individually, you're not looking at them and going, wow, superstars. Right. But they're underrated. It's like a money ball system.
Yeah. In years gone by, Thiago, whether it's an English club or a foreign club, would have been snapped up. 25 goals in the season, Brazilian international. He'd have been snapped up in years gone by.
So why hasn't he? What's your opinion? Why it wouldn't have happened?
I know. I'm just saying. I'm saying, man. I'm surprised I haven't been raided more. I don't know. I haven't got the answer. I'm just saying.
Do you reckon there's more loyalty in the game than we think as fans? As fans.
No, I
don't think it's loyalty. I think maybe clubs like with Thiago, maybe they're waiting to see if he could do it over another season. There's got to be doubts there.
I don't know, Ben. I'm not saying he's going to stay there forever, but I mean, one season and they turned him from nothing player in essence to a Brazilian international. So maybe he has said, "I'll give you a little nod. I'll give you another season." Who knows? I mean, I know money talks, and if it was a ridiculous fee, he'd go. But
I mean, and Spurs on the other hand, like I said, just I don't know. Kinski again, is he a number one?
No, he was at fault for me for a couple of the goals.
Is he a number one?
No,
they've gone. They've put all the eggs in the basket of this guy this season. Not sure, but okay.
Guys, let me just ask you a quick question, if you don't mind, before we move on.
Go on, Chris.
You're talking about why, how are these teams able to hold on to players, why they raided. If you consider that Ipswich spent about 100 million having come up from the Championship, how much would you have to pay to take Thiago? In other words, they've got so much more financial clout now, these mid-level Premier League teams that have been established for a number of years. They're not necessarily, it's not just a case of let me twist their arm. And this is why, talking of Kinski and going back to Tottenham now, they've had to pay, in my opinion, well over the market value for a lot of players. And maybe that's why it stunted the market this year. In one of your previous episodes, Super, you were saying that you felt Tottenham had killed the market with all their bidding. It's because if they're bidding less for Premier League players, they're not going to get them.
The reality is, Chris, I think the team that killed the market probably is Liverpool.
The year before.
Last season, I think Ruth did touch on it in a previous episode. When I said that, actually, Ruth said it might even be us from last year.
It was.
And the reality, it probably is us from last year. When we paid the money we did for Isaac converts, we've opened new barriers there and
the floodgates
and new normality.
But had you not bid that for Isaac, you weren't getting him. That's my point. These mid-table teams now, they've got more financial clout. And that's just the reality.
Yeah. And they don't need to sell. Like if you go back to like you're talking about, we talk about the Brighton players and the Brentford players, why they're there and they haven't moved. And then you look at the ones who have moved from Brighton, for example, they've gone for big money. Players like Casado, it's like 100 million or something like that. So this is it. You've got to spend the money. But, otherwise these players are not moving on.
Brighton Villa.
Oh, God.
Again, as I said, for me, the shock of the weekend. Not that I didn't know what I was going to get from Brighton. They were an excellent side, especially a lot of the time in the early part of the season. But I couldn't believe what I was watching with Villa. That was a game I kind of did focus on. Why? Because
why have Villa changed
I rate Emery highly.
Hello?
Rude, you froze there.
I didn't catch that, Super. Say again. You broke up.
What did you say? You froze.
Yeah, go on, mate. Say that again. What did you say?
No, I
was just saying I rate him. Yeah.
You rate Emery highly?
I rate him so highly. That's why I couldn't believe the performance.
Why have they made so many changes? Why have they gone so
lost all their players
into changing?
PSR's killed them. But if you look
that's exactly what I was going to say. It's PSR.
And if you look at Europa League final, Watkins, Rodgers, Tielemans, who else was there? Konza, Luka Dean, Martinez. None of them played. You're talking about more than half the team.
They didn't need to sell all them, though. Yeah, but Chris, you didn't need to sell all them.
Well, Tielemans, United triggered the clause, so they had no choice with that one.
Watkins had started to show signs of decline. I think they probably do need to cash in. Martinez wants to leave, apparently.
He's been wanting to go for a while.
Is Watkins officially done? Has he gone Saudi?
I don't think it's official yet, no. But I think, it's moving along. You've got Rodgers, who you're not going to deny him of a move to Chelsea for that amount of money. Luca Dean, where's he gone? Where's he gone? In PSG. So a huge club. You're not going to be able to. It's difficult to stop players moving on like that, because if they start to kick up a fuss, the problem is, are you then spending what is coming in to reinforce? And even that takes time to gel. And what Emery's managed to do up to now, because this has been consistent. This isn't just now. These are a number of years where they've consistently weakened on paper. And as Rue says, Emery keeps them up there. There's bound to come a breaking point, though. Like, what are you going to do? You can't give him a championship level squad and then say, go and do well in the league. There's going to come a breaking point. And I think that's what's frustrating so many Villa fans at the moment.
I still was shocked at that first half performance, Chris. I mean, I hear everything you're saying, and I tend to agree with most of it, but it just looked like men against boys. And, you touched upon it, Europa League winners, albeit with a different team in essence, but that was awful. That was an awful 45 minutes.
It was. I mean, I think Brighton, they're my dark horses to chase a Champions League spot. I think they're going to have a really good season. But again, I have to go back to what Rue's saying. He's correct. Like, if you look at the team they had out, Aston Villa, however weakened it is, you don't expect that. That was a mauling. Yeah. That's what you expected maybe Arsenal to do to Coventry, not Brighton to do to Villa. Do you see what I mean?
Because they've lost a whole chunk of their team at the same time. It's not been gradual. So obviously you're bringing players in, and then they're not going to gel straight away. They're finding their feet. But talking of the transfers, the ones which have moved on, Martinez he's been trying to go for over a year now. Watkins, I agree with you, Chris. I think he has slightly declined, and I think he wants to move on. So they left him out.
Hang on, say he's slightly declined, but he had a really, really strong. He's got like so many goals in the last month, 6 weeks of the season.
He picked up, but he was in my dream team last year. He was in my team, and he was frustrating me a lot.
Tielemans, the clause was triggered, and Rodgers, you're not going to deny him that move and turn that kind of money down. The transfer which surprised me, which happened so quickly, and I think it went quite cheaply as well, was Konsa. Considering the market, how much it is, that just happened. That surprised me, that one. I never saw that coming.
But they got Van Bissaka in.
Yeah, it's going to take time. Big chunk of their team's gone.
My two big talking points from that game. That sub-keeper's abysmal. He's played a few games in the Prem now. And that Bizzo, is it Bizzo?
Yeah.
He's shambolic. If you want to talk about a come down from this to that keeper's it. He wouldn't look out of place playing for the dog and duck up the road. And then, has there been any worse debuts than João Gomez?
Oh, God.
Gave a goal away and then got sent off.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, Super. You can't, you mentioned two players there, and they were at fault and so on, but it was a collective. It was awful. And I don't know what he said to him at half time. I think it was damage limitations. He probably just said, just sharp shot. Let's just get away with this. Yeah, well, you got to remember their next game is Arsenal at home. So I guess he's going to have to give them a real kick up the arse to remotely get.
How do you lift them for that?
Well, they don't need lifting. I think they just need to go out there and do it. Prove that they are good players. But it was awful.
The positive is that if you get a result against Arsenal, it then gets forgotten straight away.
Definitely. Definitely.
Before we move on, it's all good we've gone like that way, but let's give some credit to Brighton too, right?
Yeah,
massive.
I think
we're looking at Villa. Why we're just looking at Villa. Brighton suffocated them. They were at early, 4-0 up in 30 minutes. It was a blitz.
Brighton are one striker away, and apparently they're in the market. They're one striker away, in my opinion, from really pushing for a top 5 spot, Champions League.
You'd claim they've got one.
No, I've told you from the beginning, Gostulas is a prospect. No, let's not go mad. Simas is coming back from leading
Who
them in
started up
injury.
front for them, Chris? Was it Hinshelwood?
Ruta
Ruta,
started.
okay.
So
Ruta's not a bad player.
He's not, but he's not a number 9 really. I think he's more of a 10 playing at
But
a 9.
also,
Welbeck
I think a little bit like Watkins. They're purple patch strikers. They have moments. They might have 2 or 3 games where they look good, and then they go on this barren spell of not doing anything for 7 or 8. You need someone up there consistent. You need someone that can get you a goal every other game, sort of thing, and allow the rest of them to chip in. But I mean, I agree with what you said earlier, Chris. I think they're going to be there or thereabouts, knocking on the door.
Is there a name? Anyone they are linked with, or is it just that in the market?
God, his name escapes me now. There was a Japanese striker they were being linked with, I think. His name escapes me now. But I mean, whatever the case may be, they are definitely supposedly in the market for someone to replace Welbeck. Apparently, Herzler is a big fan of Zimas, but since he's done his knee ligament, you don't know what he's going to come back looking like. Kostulas' problem is that he's a talent, but he's not got a proper position. He's not a striker. He's not really an attacking midfielder. He's not a winger. And so he's still learning his craft. Ruta's a very good player. He's not an out-and-out number 9. He doesn't think like a striker. So for me, they need a proper number 9. Yeah. Just someone who's going to, and I think they will bring someone in.
A player who scored a few goals, actually, back end of last season. Like, his name seemed to pop up on the score sheet a bit. And 2 more yesterday. Is that Hinshelwood?
Yeah, he's an attacking midfielder. He's a good young talent. Yeah, good player. They've got a lot of quality prospects. But man are really good
By the way,
talent.
Yeah. Chris, you mentioned fantasy football earlier, I think. Did you see the penalty that wasn't given? And I think Grob's their penalty taker, and everyone was just like couldn't believe it. It was an awful decision. How the referee didn't give that penalty. Can't remember who the defender was. I can't remember who the attacker was.
It was quite similar to the one at St James's Park, but this one I think was even more obvious.
This one was even more blatant.
Yeah.
It took him out, and he gave nothing. Yeah. Ridiculous incident. But yeah, everyone was moaning because a lot of the cheap midfielders, Grob's probably one of the best ones, and he's their penalty taker. And there was a lot of moaning on social media, but yeah, that was an incident that was missed.
Yeah.
City Bournemouth, big scare for City.
Yeah. Bournemouth again, another team that you think Iraola is gone. Are they going to continue in the same vein? They were brilliant up until 87 minutes, whatever it was. They were excellent. They probably should have killed the game off. Donnarumma, I don't know who he saved off right at the end. I can't remember. But that was a big moment. And then they go up the other end, and before you know it, they've won the game 2-1. So
what's Guardiola doing in the 93rd minute?
Well, it's just that they play football, isn't it?
They're desperate to get the win as well, right?
It's just how they play. But you know who changed that whole game, right? The little magician. I mean, I love him. I looked at why he wasn't starting, and I'm not a big fan of Foden, never really have been. But Cherky has to play. He'll unlock any defence, mate. And if you put the right players around him, he's going to do what he did in those last 10 minutes in that cameo. He was outstanding.
We need to get Rue on the group, mate. That's what I got to say. The amount of debates I've had about Foden, I'm not a big fan.
You're not. You say that, but Foden showed his quality. I mean, there was one moment he played a little drag heel, slipped someone in, Rico Lewis.
Beautiful, but you're not going to play for Man City if you're not a good player. We're just saying that he's not up there like they make him out to be. That's all I'm saying. And I agree with Cherky is a difference maker. Now, he's a bit of I won't swear, but his character is very questionable. You can see that from the way he conducts himself.
A bit of a maverick, isn't he?
Yeah, but you can be a maverick without being a problem. He seems like he can be a bit of a problem. But as a talent, he's capable of making things happen in any given moment. One thing I do want to ask you boys, I know it's at home rather than away, so it's different. But last year, Manchester City had the momentum towards the end of the season and really lost the league against Bournemouth. The game against Bournemouth is what cost them. Do you think, with all the criticism that Maresca has received, he's not the man to replace Guardiola, from a psychological perspective, even though it's at home, they've managed with Maresca to do the team that cost them the league? Is that going to get the players getting together going, boys, this was a tough opponent. We didn't look amazing. We found a way to get over the line. Let's use this and kick on.
Yeah. I think that can. Yeah, of course it will. I mean, that kind of psychology does come into it. I mean, if you're a player and you were featuring in those games, it's going to be in the forefront of your mind. And you're going to know
I don't know, guys. I don't know. I think they're the biggest thing they got to get over. I mean, they're good enough. They're seasoned pros. I think the thing they got to get over is the fact they've lost Rodri. that we've said all along, the last 3 or 4 weeks, without Rodri, we don't see a Premier League going to Man City. It may, I don't know, materialise in a different way. But I looked at that midfield and it looked a shadow of itself without him in there, and possibly Bernardo Silva as well. I thought Eddie Anderson had a very poor game personally. You got to give the guy time, but yeah, I just think that game in isolation probably isn't something they're looking at thinking, we lost it to Bournemouth, we've won it this time round. I think, again, we'll talk about Liverpool and all the others, and Chelsea tonight as well. I think they're the only threat to Arsenal, if there is one. They're the only ones that might be able to mount a challenge, and it all depends if it clicks into gear for Maresca and they pick up on what he wants to do. But for a long time yesterday, I wasn't sure.
Boyd has been signed. I've just seen Alan, a wing has been signed 40 million, and they've entered the race apparently today for Cody Gakpo.
Yeah,
they're not getting Cody Gakpo, man. They're not getting Cody Gakpo.
Oh, they're in talks.
They can race all they like. They ain't getting him. Yeah, so let's just move on. Let's just move that one on. Sorry?
Do you mean that Liverpool won't sell him to him?
No, listen, even if we got a Barcola in, which is looking less and less unlikely, but I just think we as fans disrespect Gakpo, and I think Iraola actually likes the player and what he can offer. I'm not saying he's an ideal player for his system, but I just think we can't send him to City. We can't send him to City. Even at Spurs, it'd be pathetic. But to send him to City,
if we get two wingers in, Rube, Gakpo's gone. You know that, though.
I don't think so, mate, because he's the only one that can back up Isak.
100% he could be gone. I'll tell you why he'll be gone as well.
Why?
Because the club will never be as confident they can get that money being touted again. They will never be as confident.
What money? 50, 55, 60 million?
No, they're talking about 75s and 80s.
I'll come off here.
They have. That's the money that's been moved around. And the club will know that a ceiling for a Gakpo, they're not going to get 75, 80s again. Let's get real.
He proved himself again yesterday. You was a massive critic, and at times I was
proved
too.
Himself. What, he scored a goal.
Come on, good goal.
He still didn't beat a man. He still kept cutting back, and he still slowed play down.
When we get on that game, right, we'll talk about all the other players around him, right? But going back to City, I think they've got enough there to challenge against Arsenal. I just think it needs to click quicker than maybe expected.
I actually think.
I don't think they'll be there at the. I don't think they'll be there at the business end.
I actually think I agree with Chris, because to come from a goal behind late into the game and win the game like that, it's normally a good feeling in the change room, which could actually.
No, I'm not denying that, Ben. I'm just saying that Chris asked if it was, a mindset thing, because last season they lost the game against Bournemouth. I think they're two separate things.
Yeah, I think it just brings a lot of satisfaction that they've won the game.
Definitely,
and a game that they didn't win last year, but whether it's going to make a difference towards the end of the season.
Let's move the show along, guys. Chris, do you think they'll be there at the business end? Man City.
I think you can't rule them out. For me, the dark horse to challenge.
Yes or a no?
Yes.
You think they win at the business end? Okay, fair enough.
I want to hear the guys. I want to hear the guys' dark horse, man. What's wrong with you, Chris? Talk to us about your dark horse.
I think Chelsea. I just think because they've only got European football they haven't got European football to focus on. I think Chelsea will be the closest challenger. I think Arsenal will win the league. I think City will be top three.
Okay.
Well, let's dive in. Newcastle, Liverpool. I guess that's the next fixture on the list.
That was a good game. Before we analyse it, it was actually a good game of football for a neutral to watch. Yeah,
we were lucky to get a point. Let's be honest. They had a midfield duo of what combined age of 35, whatever it was. Against a title-winning midfield, and same old problems. Stupid goal, the first one. I thought it was bad enough watching it once. To do the same thing, probably worse. The second one, you're sitting there thinking, "Come on, this can't be happening." There was nothing for me positive apart from minor things like the two centre backs did well. I thought Xhaka had a good 60, 70 minutes, and I thought I can't pronounce his name. Is it Araujo's cameo was very good. I thought Munoz come on and done so much better than Rio on the right. So if we're going to have a short-term solution for that, put Munoz out there, because Rio cannot play as a right winger.
No. I thought Lewis Hall done very well against him.
Sorry?
Lewis Hall played him very well.
Well, Lewis will play him with the well, but as we know in football, there are moments that just throw it all out the window. And he's, I'm not saying it was an awful decision what he did, but he should have dealt with that.
I'm saying in terms of Rio's
Rio,
performance.
yeah. And then the other minor one, and it is a minor one, is nice to see kind of Kumas, coming on and doing really well. He had impact, but I'm clutching at straws. I thought we were inept. And it's frustrating. I mean, all I can do is do what we said all pre-season ban is understand that it's the beginning of a long journey and we need to give the guy time. And the bottom line is we walked away undefeated. So we'll see what happens next. But yeah.
How long are we going to give Isaac converts?
Mate, who said it today? I think it was Neville yesterday after he had his podcast, and he said, we've been very kind to these two.
Yeah.
And yeah, we have been. There's no other way to look at it.
I think more so with Verts, because
more so with Verts,
had an injury. We have to be conscious of that. It was a terrible injury and he's out for a long time. But Verts is getting away with a lot here. I'm not saying he's not a good player. You can see he's got the quality. But I'll tell you something, there's been players who've gone for a lot of money who have not had as much grace as he has.
So these two dead ducks. Let's bring you into convo. Chris. No, not you, the other Chris, for a minute. Let's ask him. Chris, are these two dead ducks?
No.
Not necessarily. I mean, look, Liverpool have got quality throughout the team. But I tell you, this is just my opinion, and maybe there's a bias because I've already got this concept about Dutch football. For me, the Dutch football philosophy of total football just doesn't fit with what I believe in the game. I think that in a successful team, you need 7 dogs that facilitate the top players, that are 3 or 4 of them, to do what they need to do. And when I look at Liverpool under Klopp, you had elite players. Yeah, exactly. You had elite
magic players up top.
Right. And then others facilitating them. Others that were really underappreciated. Fabinho, Henderson, Robertson, players Wijnaldum, exactly. Well, Trent is himself a bit of a magician, but I'm talking about players that would facilitate the superstars. For me, when I look at Liverpool now, you've got talent, but they're not streetwise. When Kirkes is having a straight foot sprint with Elanga, and it becomes apparent to him, go and watch the first goal again. He's looking over his shoulder constantly. It becomes very apparent to him that he's about to get burned. He sees him closing in on him. The minute he's caught up with you, and there's no one in sight of your path for him to go through and goal. If that through ball goes in and he's past you, no one's catching him. Maybe Van Dijk can come across, but he's got a clear path to go. Step in front of him, bring him down, take a booking. Later on for the second goal, Szoboszlai overcommits, trying to win the ball. And I know I've teased Super about, we have banter on the group and I cuss Szoboszlai. Sob's one of the best players in the league, right? In that moment, really poor, overcommitted. Verts comes in to cover. Take him out, man. What is that little flick of the foot? And all of a sudden, you don't do that and he's running in at your defense. They're not streetwise. You need, going back to what we were saying before about a DM, I think you should have gone for a Belabor. That style of guy. Someone who's going to protect a shield.
I agree with you. I hear you. The only thing I would say is you're remembering. You can't forget that the majority of those players won the title 2 seasons ago, and it wasn't that dogged approach that you're talking about. It wasn't there.
But it
wasn't there.
Okay, but let's remember one thing though, right? And if we're honest about it,
but that team 2 years ago, they had the maverick of Luis Diaz.
Yeah, but 1 minute.
And they had Mo Salah.
But
even Darwin posed certain problems for teams.
No, but I'm talking about the personnel. A lot of them are still there, and the fact that what Chris is saying, and I hear it again. Like I know a lot of successful teams are like that. You've got 5 or 6 players, 7 maybe that aren't the highlight players. They do the dog work for the elite players. But
I think
we're not that team.
I think the part you're missing I think the part that flaws the argument of what you're making, Roo, is I think you'd almost be better the changes being the less fashionable positions and the continuity being the stars.
Well, 1 minute. Let me.
But we've changed the stars.
I'm actually interested what Chris is going to say, because Chris was about to.
What I was going to say, if you look at even guys like Nunez, who I know really frustrated Liverpool fans, he would press manically. Yeah. He was a runner. He would do the dirty work. McAllister is a little bit. Maybe he's not a big athletic guy, so he loses quite a few jewels, but he's got a bit of fire in him. He would fight for everything. Robertson 2 years ago isn't the Robertson of last year where he started to really decline, in my opinion. the point, you had Trent, who, despite the criticism defensively, is a lot better defensively than Frimpong. You had Salah, who was still able to, he was running up and down. There was a lot of intensity to his game. A lot of that has dropped off. As Super touched upon, Diaz would have defenders thinking about having to move backwards to recover. You don't have that sort of dribbler at the moment. So, yes, Gravenberch was changed to a holding midfielder and surprised people. But I think you were able to get away with that because you had more dogged work still around them. I just think right now, the team that you've got, you need a couple of pit bulls. If Wirtz has legs around him to protect him, and he's receiving the ball higher up the pitch and he's not involved in individual duels, if he's getting the ball in and around the box, he can still do a bit of magic. I just think that...
I agree, because my biggest worry with Iraola coming in for me was I looked at the squad and the majority of it aren't suited to his system. So, like you said, runners, workers... I thought Szoboszlai now is going to surpass already what he's done, because it would be perfect. His game's perfect for that system.
Exactly.
You might add a couple more, but we haven't got those players. I know, I agree, but overall, and you've got to remember, Super, I said it as well when I analysed, give him time. Not Szoboszlai, give Iraola time.
100%.
This ain't going to work. It's going to be magic overnight. You've got to take time.
I totally agree with you, Root. You have to give him time, no doubt. And the only thing I was going to ask, though, if you're then bringing in a manager who plays the type of football he plays, then surely you've got to do more business in the summer.
Agreed.
I mean, you can't expect him to work wonders with a team that is not suited to his...
No, I agree with you. I mean, the only thing I would say from his point of view, opposed to me as a fan sitting here, is always, a manager will know better than me. He might be looking at it. He thought, give them all a chance. He's definitely going to buy. There will be players coming in before the first. He's already brought in Munoz. He's already brought in the centre-back from Barcelona. There's going to be at least a sprinkling of 2 more. It has to be, because our squad is so thin.
And the thing is, guys, as well, I know this is hard for Liverpool fans to think this way, because you're Liverpool. You're one of the biggest clubs in the world. To some degree, you've got to be patient enough to, in your minds, see this as a bit of a write-off season, which is really hard considering the season you had last year. But what I mean is, let him do his things. In other words, if you're struggling by December, don't start calling for his head. Give the guy time.
They will. Yeah, modern football's like that. That's the
unfortunately. But if the thing is, Iraola as a coach and his system and style is worlds apart from the sort of thing that Slot wanted Liverpool to do, and that transition takes time.
Yeah.
And unless you're really going to back the coach and give him time, number 1, to bring his players, number 2, to implement the system, then there's no point. You might as well bring another version of Slot who you might think is a better version.
And that's exactly why I was saying. Surely you would have thought they would have got some players in who adhere to his style.
Did Gravenberch get the criticism he deserves for both goals?
No, he didn't.
Both goals. Both goals.
Hold on a sec. I've got to be honest. I've got to be honest, though, Super.
Yeah.
If an attacking players, Messi lost the ball more than any other player statistically in both La Liga and at this World Cup. If you're in an attacking area, you want your player to take a bit of a risk to try and pass them.
I'll tell you what, if I want someone to take a risk in the final third, I'll have a Messi take a risk rather than a Gravenberch.
You can't be losing the ball just outside your box and blaming him for the goal being conceded.
There's still a lot to be done. There's still a lot to be done.
Exactly.
Do you agree? Even a Kirkes, so it's all good pinpointing Kirkes.
No, I'm just saying he's not shrewd.
Hang on. Yeah, but hang on. Hear me out. If I'm a Kirkes, Gravenberch, I think, has tried to play a ball. I think it was to Gakpo or Wirtz for that first goal. I don't know who he tried to play that side with. And it was a 6-yard pass, by the way, 6-7-yard pass. So let's not make it out to be he was like, you have to be some super footballer to make that pass. Kirkes is on an overlap. Because Kirkes is thinking he's going to get the ball. It's a relatively simple pass. So, you got to have a bit of like, but in the modern day, they do play, a lot of teams, they play this front foot football. So Kirkes is on his way to his overlap. And all of a sudden, he can't make a 5-yard pass. Kirkes has got to stop his run and start chasing back 70 yards against Elanga. And Elanga's, and in a foot race, there's not many going to beat Elanga in the Prem, right?
No, but because he knows that, stop that run. You can't have a 4-yard head start and you see him closing the range.
Then,
you got to do something. I agree with Chris there. You got to find a way to stop.
And then
it.
second goal, he tried some flick or something.
I don't know, man. I just think
he's tried something stupid again. But he's lost the ball again. Yeah, and someone could bring someone down. But I'll tell you what, cut out the route, and that's a route.
But there's still a lot to do, Super. This is the thing. A player loses the ball.
Same player lost the ball twice, cost 2 goals.
Yeah, but you lose the ball in the opposition's near the opposition's box. You still then want
cost 2 goals, Benja.
No, but it doesn't cost 2 goals. There's still a lot to be done.
Anyway, listen, the biggest disappointment on the day was watching Isaac. Isaac looks like he looks a shadow of the player I fell in love with. He was overwhelmed by the situation, man.
He's never going to succeed in a team like yesterday.
Yeah, but the collectively they were shit. We've got to wait and see.
Isaac at Newcastle was doing his thing. Look at the players he had.
How many goals was he getting a season? 13, 14? That's not enough for Liverpool.
No, but
it's a lot of money you paid for someone who has potential. He wasn't.
No, but Chris, what I'm saying is, you want to get the best of Isaac. You need two. You need 2 flying wingers.
I agree.
Get 2 flying wingers. Get playing on the break properly. On the break. Get playing on the break. Start releasing him. And watch him score. Even the goal where he broke his leg, there you go. That's what you paid the money for.
Look, I agree.
He got broken in half, but that's what you paid the money for.
I think we've all said that if you're going to trust Iraola, you do need to invest to bring in the right personnel. He's going to need time. We all agree on that. All I'm saying, though, is that I don't think with the money you've paid and the reputation he's come, forget everybody else, specifically him, despite the injury and everything, he hasn't performed to where you want him to perform at, regardless of who he's had around him. There have been moments where he's had individual duels or opportunities, and he's just not looked like he's Liverpool standard. I still don't think he's a dead duck. He can come good because he's proven himself. He's got credit in the bank. But you've also got to give him time, and you can't be looking at Gravenberch losing the ball 80 yards from his goal and blaming him for goals.
Twice.
I agree.
Statistically, Super.
The biggest worry with Isaac, Chris. The biggest worry with Isaac for me, Chris, is it looks like he's lost a yard, and that's scary. After that injury, that he don't look the sort of guy that I remember picking up the ball for Newcastle and exploding. You know, he had an opportunity. I think it was in the friendly last week against Como. Got the ball, and yeah, it's a friendly, but there was no acceleration. There was no like kind of just that vavavoom he used to have at Newcastle. And it's, I don't know, mate. I'm worried about him more so probably than Verge. I think Verge, you get the right midfielders around him, you'll see a very, very good player. But Isaac, I'm not so sure.
Do you think that's injury related? Because even before,
I think so. That broken leg potentially may have. I don't know, like I said, he's lost half a yard, whatever, but he just don't look the same player.
The thing is, by the way, just so you know, you had an XG of 2.98. I think it was one of the highest this week, and you were away at Newcastle. I know they've lost players, but it's still Newcastle away. So I don't know. I do think you'll get goals. I'm not too worried about that. I do think you will find your feet. This whole controversy about the penalty, I don't know what everyone's going on about.
That's bullshit.
Yeah,
we're not discussing that on the show. I'm not for discussing nonsense on the show.
Listen. We'll discuss it because everyone else is. But the fact is,
I hear what everyone else is discussing. They're sensationalists trying to make a story.
Well, this is what I was going to say. What was all that about? Because after the game,
make a story.
But after the game, they all agreed.
Bored.
But they were trying to make it controversial whilst they were all agreeing it was a penalty.
Yeah, he stepped into his path. He made it was a pen to cut him off. Their knees have connected, so have their thighs. Solid connection. Like, I actually don't get what the discussion's about.
He stepped into his path. Simple as that.
He looked lively, Munoz, when he was on. You know, he looked very direct, lively.
He looked that's why I'm bringing it up. I thought he looked good. So don't worry about your attack. I think your attack will be okay. I just think you need to get a bit more streetwise. It's your defense that I'm more worried about.
By the way, Frimpong looks like he won the raffle. He ain't got a clue. Frimpong, Frimpong looks like he's won a competition to play right back.
Who was it? Was it Super said there's a play in there? Every time I've watched him, he's not good, man.
He's not a right back.
Right wing back.
He's not a right back. That's what I said. He's not a right back.
He's not a right back.
But you're not playing with wing back.
He's playing out of position. Best way I
Yeah,
can put it is he's playing that position.
You say that, but he's not, because you're not playing that system anyway. So what are you going to do?
I don't
What
know
do
why
you
you bought him then, because you're
playing
not
that
position.
3-5-2.
You know what I think he's going to do at the weekend? I think he's going to put Araujo at right back because he's played for Barcelona before at right back. So I think he'll probably kind of bite the bullet and put him there at right back. Keep Xhaka next
Just
to
Van Dijk.
Spurs.
quickly, guys, I'm just conscious of the time. We want to move things on a bit. Minte, happening or not happening?
It's the dumbest signing I've ever heard. That one, I don't get it.
Happening or
He's coming
not?
back in. He's
Is
coming
that a
back
yay or a
January.
nay? That's all I
hope
want.
not.
Yes or no?
Going to
Just
happen.
ask.
If Liverpool are
no.
interested, it's going to happen.
Ban,
No.
Minte, is he going to be a Liverpool player September 1st?
Yeah, because Liverpool want him, so it's going to happen.
You think that will happen?
If Liverpool want him, yeah.
Chris, do you think Minte will be a Liverpool player September the 1st?
I think if as Ban's saying, if they want him, it will happen.
Do you think he'll be there?
I think he won't. I think he'll be a Liverpool player January the 1st.
Right. I'm gonna make a prediction here. If it doesn't happen in September, Roo, it's not going to happen at all.
Why?
Because in January, Ryan's release clause kicks in. That's where Iriola's going.
Well,
I'm going to say something to you, Super.
That's actually quite observant, you know.
That's
a really good point.
That is, but if that's the one they want, then they'd wait.
We'll see. Well, that's what I said. We'll see what happens with Minte. He's out for 2-3 months, like we said. So, bit of a weird one.
That's what I'm saying. So,
Barcola, happening or not?
Yes.
Rue saying yes. Chris, Barcola.
Yes.
Yeah. Banjo?
Yeah.
Well, it's gone on that long. If that don't happen, then there is an issue. But, yeah. Mbaye?
No.
Banjo?
No.
Chris? No. Okay. We'll move on. Fulham, Chelsea.
Yeah, that was a good game just now.
Palmer looked like back to himself, didn't he?
Yeah, he was just quality.
Well, I think Banjo called that last week. He thought Palmer would be back.
I just think he's such a good player, and maybe he had a bit of a loss of confidence last year. I don't know what went on, but he lost his form. But when you're that good, you come good again.
I think you put two players like Palmer and Rodgers in the same lineup. You're causing damage.
Also, Palmer had some fitness issues. He then had the World Cup off, so he's able to recuperate. João Pedro had the summer off, able to recuperate. He looks really sharp. I think these things matter, you know. When you come in, you know, so they look sharp. But although I really like Lacroix, and he actually did really well to set on the goal, defensively, Chelsea still looked like they were at 6s and 7s. So unless it's just going to take them time to gel, they're going to have problems again at the back.
I didn't see it tonight, guys. I didn't see it tonight, guys. Who partnered Lacroix at the back?
I think you might have gone 3 at the back. Levi Colwell was in there.
Colwell was in, yeah? Okay.
I'll tell you what's an issue. Sanchez in goal.
He's awful, man.
He's
awful goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, Sanchez. Boys, both the goals, man. The first one, my goodness me.
Achampong also played.
Yeah. Oh, my word, though. Boys, Sanchez, like, he talking about winning a competition to play for a club, Roo. My goodness.
He's awful, man.
Well, how have they persisted with him? I really did think they were going to sign a keeper this summer.
They've been trying for the last 2, and they've been trying to get Super's favourite French keeper for a while, and that never happened.
I don't know how they haven't moved him for
the AC Milan keeper.
Magnan.
Yeah.
I don't get how they haven't moved him for Emmy. I know that Emmy's distribution in the modern game.
Could that be who they go for?
Well, apparently he's going to Juventus. So all the Italian media saying that that's near enough a done deal. But Sanchez, there's all this focus about his distribution. All right, I'll tell you what. Drop Sanchez and put Neto in goal. He can distribute the ball as well.
Exactly.
Like, we're over here. We're going to have an outfield player in goal because he can pass the ball. I want a goalkeeper that can. I'm not going to bring an electrician to come and fix my plumbing. Get in his position. Honestly, man, I don't understand some of these decisions that are made.
Their reserve keeper is a Mike Penders.
Yeah, probably subs it up. No one's heard of him. He must be
They'll get a keeper. They'll get a keeper before the window shuts.
21 years old.
I'm surprised they haven't got one in.
21-year-old Belgian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good track record, Belgium, for producing good keepers. So who knows?
So are we in agreement with Chris that Chelsea will give Arsenal the biggest challenge?
No. For me,
I
it's
predicted
City.
Chelsea will have a good season.
I think. Listen, I think evidence of playing just having no Europe makes a massive. Like you saw United last season, they nicked third, and playing one game a week or whatever it was. I think that Chelsea can have a similar season.
Also,
or maybe even better.
Also, boys, I think signing the likes of Henderson and Welbeck, it for the changing room has such a massive impact. Because Chelsea have always had this problem of this rotating door, players coming in and out. You've had a lot of bad apples in terms of their attitude. You don't get two pros that are better than those two. And Henderson and Welbeck, really, they've both been there. They've done it at the highest level. They're good voices to have in that change room. So when the pressure starts to ramp up, I can just see those two getting involved. I don't know. I think it's going to come
Chris,
good for
you mentioned bad apples, mate. I mean, this guy is probably a whole kind of van load of apples in one. But what's the latest with Enzo? Is he going?
He came on. He came on.
Oh, did he?
And he was getting booed.
Oof.
They started with a strange midfield, was it? Was James was centre mid with Lavia. Yeah.
Lavia's back. Lavia's back.
Yeah, Lavia made a really bad tackle and got booked early on.
Yeah.
Really bad. But apart from that, it was a booking. It wasn't a red, but it was a hard challenge for a booking.
So where was Caicedo tonight?
He's out.
That's what I was wondering. Must be injured.
He's injured, I think.
Okay. I know, but okay. Fulham, though, they put up a fight. Looks like promising for them as well.
They did.
Looked really good for them. Oscar Bob looked good for them. Sander Berg looked good for them. Bassi, they looked good.
Yes, Bassi had a very good game.
We're not allowed to bring up Oscar Bob on this pod, Chris, please.
It's too Bob.
Mario destroys him. Poor fella, character assassinates him.
He did look good though, Sue. But I know. I watch your pod, guys. I know, but he did look good. What are we gonna do? Lie?
I look good once.
I don't know if he's told you.
I look good once.
Podcast, so we got to see what he wants us to do, mate.
Any other big flashpoints? Any other big deals to discuss? Anything we see happening, not happening over the next week?
Well, the biggest one for me, and we're touching upon something away from our league, is Alvarez. I don't know if you saw the reception he got at the weekend.
Yeah,
Lord have mercy on that guy's soul. He's got to move. I didn't quite get the take on Atletico telling him to walk down the tunnel on his own. It was like a matador, wasn't it? Like going through, and they were throwing the shirts at him and everything. But he needs to move. He obviously doesn't want to come to London, or didn't before. Maybe with that reaction and Barca not getting him, he might be going to Arsenal. Who knows?
That would be
the compromise, right?
Yeah.
That would be massive.
Yeah, another player. They don't need to sell. They buy another player.
You sound very bitter, Super.
In you come. Yeah. No, fair play. What I do want, the only thing I want, Banjo, so we're clear, is owners like that.
But you ain't got them yet.
We will get them. That's why I said to you lot. That's why I said to you lot, let's get this season done with.
Let me ask you something. If Arsenal were to sign Alvarez, and let's say, for example, Solis carries on the form that he's had, he's going to start Alvarez and drop Solis, whatever happens, because it's Alvarez, right? Let's say Alvarez...
He's going to drop Solis for Alvarez?
If they sign Julian Alvarez is can play wide left.
Really? You won't play through the middle?
He can also play through the middle. He can play wide left or through the middle. So you think he'll come in for Havertz?
I think you're getting a number 9. I think he comes in and plays.
I don't know. I think Arsenal need want a left winger to replace Martinelli. I've got a feeling Alvarez will play on the left, and he'll have Havertz or Gyökeres through the middle.
Wow.
But I was going to say, let's say for argument's sake, you were to go with Alvarez. Okay, regardless of where he starts, whether it's up front, where Havertz has been really good, or left wing, where Solis has been really good. If Alvarez then doesn't hit the ground running, do you drop him for one of those two? I'm asking this because of what's gone on with Isak at Liverpool, Wirtz at Liverpool. If you're a big money signing and you're at Arsenal, who are sort of going for the league in theory, expected to win the league, just like Liverpool were when you spent $500 million on an already Premier League winning team, what do you do if that big signing doesn't deliver? Because one thing about Arteta, although he's done a great job, he's yet to try and manage a superstar. What happens if it doesn't quite work out? What happens in that scenario?
It's a difficult one to answer, Chris, because I actually think that scenario is the percentages are almost, like zero. I think your team is so much more settled than what we had. He comes in and he just elevates the team. If it did happen, like hypothetically, I think he persists with him. I think he persists with him because he did the same for a lot of the season last year with Gyökeres. So I think he persists with him, and he'll eventually click. I mean, he's just too good a player. But I'm still surprised at what you said, that you think he'll come in at left wing. I think he's a number 9 all day long. That's something you're missing.
He definitely plays left wing. He can play right wing as well. But
yeah.
He definitely plays left wing as well. Does it a lot for Argentina. Has done for Argentina as well. He's also played through the middle. And because there's talk of Martinelli leaving, we know Trossard's gone.
This is it.
You can't have just Solis as the sole left winger. I know Madueke can cover. Eze's not really a left winger. I've got a feeling he's coming for that left wing spot.
Maybe.
The thing is, when Arsenal sold Trossard and then they brought Solis in, and then I'm hearing, like you're saying, you're hearing Martinelli's out of the picture, and I'm thinking, well, they definitely want someone else out there.
Well, don't forget, it wasn't talk of Vinny and Alvarez. It was talk of Vinny, and when that didn't happen, it then became Alvarez.
Oh, right,
so that's why I'm thinking maybe Rue's right though. Maybe
they're also looking at Barcola, but apparently I think they've resigned themselves that Barcola's destined for Liverpool.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not sure Barcola's worth what he's being touted for.
No, I don't think so.
Don't think anyone's worth what they've been touted for this year.
No, but I mean, had Arsenal gone overboard with Vinny, I sort of would have understood it. With Barcola, I just think, I don't know. I think he's a really good player, very dangerous, fast. I'm not sure he's got the end product to justify quite that amount. His numbers don't quite justify it.
I'm just surprised with Arsenal. Go back to them again, because normally you'd bring the player in, then ostracize the other one. It's almost like
it's a risk, isn't it? If they don't get someone over the line,
what'd you do?
Yeah, well, how do you build those bridges again?
What's the point you're making, Benjo?
The point I'm making, I thought. I'm surprised with even a few weeks ago when they were saying Martinelli,
Martinelli weren't even there. But Martinelli, you keep banging about Martinelli this show. Martinelli weren't even there starting left mid last week. Trossard was the one they counted on.
Yeah,
so
but
Martinelli.
No, but you're not getting my point.
Martinelli hasn't been a main man at Arsenal for a long time. He had many a chance.
Yeah, but what I'm trying
to explain, he didn't take it.
No, but what I'm explaining is it's a numbers game as well. They've only got Solis now.
He's no good. He's not good enough.
They've only got Solis. Normally, you buy someone and then you then make the sell or whatever it is. But the thing is, they're getting rid of him without bringing someone in yet. I'm thinking, do they know something we don't?
Yeah, clearly. If they're
maybe this Alvarez thing is definitely happening.
If they're willing to leave themselves a bit short in a position, they even know something's happening there, or they've got alternatives.
I think they know something's happening.
The whole Konza thing, because I thought that means it will probably spur the end of Ben White by January.
Oh, well,
Did you hear what Saka said? What he said about Arteta said about Saka, Odegaard, and Ben White, that because he was asked by the interviewer and he sort of agreed that because of the amount of time they played together in terms of their combinations, it's the best sort of patterns of play that he has at the club. Is he really going to break that up? But then you've got a problem where you've got Timber, Konza, Mosquera, and Ben White, who are all capable of playing sort of centre back, right back.
Yeah, no, I just thought Konza's the man coming in, Ben White's gone because it's just an upgrade on him.
How do you keep them all happy, Super?
Yeah,
but Konza's been brought in as a fourth centre back, surely, primarily.
He can play right back as well when one's injured.
Do you think he'll sit on the bench as I don't know.
Sorry,
he's never sitting on the bench. He's either going to be centre back when Saliba's injured, or he's going right back.
Yeah, I think he'll start centre back while Saliba's out.
He won't be starting ahead of Timber when Timber's fit.
Could be.
No. So then he might be in and out, sort of rotating.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
But then what happens to White?
Yeah, I'm saying he's got to be completely surplus.
Well, as a saying in business and in life, what got you here won't get you there. And maybe Arsenal have won the league now, and they're maybe thinking bigger things, and they're thinking Ben White's ain't going to win his Champions Leagues, and that's what we want. And
that's what Arteta said at the end of the Champions League. Then he goes, "We got to understand that it's going to be an emotional summer where players that we love and we've cherished are not going to be here anymore." So he's going to, he's going to be ruthless in some capacity. I just think even when you're going to do that, you've got to do it in a certain vein. And like Ben said a minute ago, what they're doing with Martinelli, regardless of what we think as a player, it's not the way to do it. It's wrong.
Yeah,
I agree.
We'll agree to disagree. I've got no issues with what they're doing. They want him out. He's not playing ball. You do what you can to get him out.
Any employees,
and if that's the best way. If I ignore you, if I ignore you in the workplace,
I say it all the week, mate. Chris, I say it every week, mate. I don't know how his employees last.
If I ignore you,
myself,
Chris,
if I work for him, mate.
If I ignored you in the workplace,
they don't last. That's the problem.
If I ignored you in the workplace, that's your hint out. Anyway,
do you use those tactics, Suga? Actually, you don't want to give too much away.
Yeah. I might have employees listening. Anyway, let's go into scores predictions. We've run quite a long show tonight, so let's speed along, finish this fast. Me and Banjo had 4 each, and Rue and the guest had 5 each.
Oh,
so that is how week 1 ended.
1 minute. Let's slow down for a second. What did you say at the opening of this show about thanks, Chris, for coming on? At least there's a Chris that can have some knowledge about football.
The 2 Chris's.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, mate. Thank you. Thank you. The shit we got to deal with that geezer.
My friend, I know the alcohol and the sun's gone to your head, but one sunny day doesn't make a summer. Anyway, let's start. Well, I guess we'll start with the leader. So, Rue, Ipswich Liverpool Friday night game.
Ipswich Liverpool.
It's a Friday night game.
Ipswich Liverpool.
I've gone wrong. I've gone wrong week fixtures here.
Jesus Christ!
He's doing April,
mate.
It's a week after.
This. Look at what we got to deal with there, Chris.
And he's making.
And he's got the cheek to take the piss out of me, man.
Yeah. And do you know what's worse? He was writing them all down.
Do you know what I mean?
So what have you done? He's writing them all down again.
At least I don't have to do it next week. Friday night, Palace Man City.
Man City away.
Chris.
Man City away.
So Rue, Chris, Ben, Super, Palace Man City. So Rue's gone away. Chris has gone away. Banjo?
Away win.
Yeah, away's all round there. Saturday, lunchtime game, Liverpool Forest. Chris?
Liverpool. Oh, sorry, wrong Chris.
No, you?
Liverpool.
Banjo?
Home win. Liverpool.
Yep, home win. Rue?
Liverpool.
Bournemouth, Everton, Banjo?
Draw. Bournemouth played well the other day. Everton won. No. I'll go back to that. Sorry, home win. Home win. Bournemouth.
I'm going to go home win. Rue?
Home win.
Chris?
Yeah, Bournemouth.
Yeah?
Yeah, Bournemouth.
Coventry Hull to me. Ooh. I'm going to go home win. Rue?
Home win.
Home win. Chris?
I'm going to go for a draw.
Ban?
Draw.
Spurs, Newcastle.
I won this, by the way, last year because I just kept on saying Spurs are going to lose.
Is it me?
Rue, that's you. Tottenham, Newcastle.
I'm going for a home win.
Chris?
I'm going to go for a draw.
Banjo?
Yeah, draw for me.
I'm going... If I had any inkling that Spurs' lineup will be the same as that they had at the weekend, I will definitely go for an away win, but I'll go for a draw, thinking that they can't field that sort of lineup again. Chelsea Brighton. Chris.
I'm going to go Chelsea, tentatively.
Banjo.
Home win.
Yep, home win for me. Roo.
Home win.
Leeds, Brentford to me. Poor. I'm going to go for a draw. Actually, it should have been Banjo. Banjo, you called it. Should have been your pick.
I was going to say draw as well.
Roo?
Away win.
Away win. Chris?
Home win.
Home win. Sunderland, Fulham is me. What a horrible game. I will go for a draw. Roo?
Home win.
Home win. Chris?
This one's a tough one. I'll go for a home win.
Banjo?
Sunderland were good at home last season, but I'm going to surprise you. I'm going to go for an away win.
An away win. Well,
Yeah.
Man U Ipswich, Sunday afternoon game.
What are you laughing? What's he laughing at?
Relegation battle. 6-pointer.
6-pointer. Go on, Roo. Man U.
Home win.
Home win.
Home win.
Chris?
Home win.
Banjo?
Home win.
He said that with his chest.
Do I think they can win again?
Jeez.
Go on, home win. And Monday night, do we have a game?
Yeah, Villa Arsenal.
Arsenal.
Oh, God.
So, Chris, take it away. Aston Villa v Arsenal.
Away win.
Banjo.
Away win, Arsenal.
Yeah, away win. Roo.
Away win.
Okay, that's a draw. That's a wrap. Last part of the show, guys. Champ and chump of the week.
Ooh.
Chris, let's start with your champ.
Champ of the week. Oh, God. Hinselwood, I guess.
Hinselwood. Banjo?
I'm going to, maybe because it's more recent in the memory, I'm going to go Cole Palmer. I thought he was brilliant tonight and got player of the match as well. Champ.
Roo?
Keith Andrews, mate. I think what he's done down there is nothing short of amazing. And it continues, to go in the same way at the beginning of the season. Been brilliant.
I toyed with Hinselwood, but I'm going with Jakirovic, the whole manager. Got his boys fired up, ready. And
Good shout.
Good big
shout.
win.
Fair
Good win. Chump of the week. Chris.
Chump of the week. I'm going to have to go Sanchez. I think, I know they got the 3 points, but my goodness me, he could have cost his team.
Banjo?
Although, yeah, leave it there.
Oh, me, I'm finding it difficult. I don't know.
Tielemans.
Do you know what? Honestly, I was going to say him. He was appalling. I'll go Tielemans or Kinski. Spurs. I've had to put Spurs in there, I think.
And can I just ask you one question? Everyone was mocking it the weekend. What was going on with Maguire holding Mazraoui from the corner?
I don't know. I can't. Only he can answer that. The ball hit the post and he's holding our player, making sure he doesn't block it. I don't know.
Christ,
only he can.
Strange player, Maguire.
Let's get him on next week. We'll get him on next week. We'll ask him.
Super. Mine is, I forget his name. Is it João Gomez, the Villa guy with his lovely debut?
Yeah.
He's got to be chump of the week, mate. Chump of the week.
That's got to be the right answer.
The two that were in the running for me, but I've actually written down João Gomez, but the two lucky ones that they're not in there is Ryan Gravenberch and Richard Hughes. If ever I saw someone stealing a living,
Why don't you start?
stealing a living.
Add Arne Slot. I don't think Arnie. I had Arnie Slot to that, please. Go on, just do it. Do what you did last
Remember
year.
one
I'll
thing.
get over it.
He's the only guy who's got one tag. Shit footballer, shit a director of football. And on that note,
We bid you good night.
Thanks for having me on, Vince. I really appreciate
It's
it.
been an absolute pleasure, Chris.
Rude, go and get some much needed sleep.
I'll be back.
Hopefully
It's 2 o'clock in the
next week
morning.
you're fresher.
Next week.
And Chris, thanks for joining us.
Chris, thank you.
Been
Yeah,
a pleasure
thanks
having
for
you
having me,
on the show. And Banjo, gutted for Man U.
Yeah, thanks.
And yeah, apart from that,
Doctor, have
have a
a
great week,
enjoy
lads.
the rest of your holiday. Roo.
Cheers,
have a good
mate.
week,
Have a
lads.
good one, guys.
God bless you.
God bless. Take care.